So we're going to zoom in a bit and we're going to talk about the target for this lesson. Did you find the target, or where did you
so
find?
here it says they're going to multiply by multiples of 10 using the place value chart.
Okay.
So by the end, they're going to have to know how to multiply by tens using that place value chart.
Perfect.
You have to create a place value chart and multiply the tens and kind of go together so understand like how they correlate.
So as we're like going to look at that, that aligns to the standards. If you pull up your
On Zearn.
Okay. I do want to take a second to go over the standards that align. So read each of those standards real quick. Yeah. So what's your thoughts?
I was thinking the last standard was the one that I was thinking.
Which one is that one?
The 3 NBT.
Yep.
A.3.
That's the exact one.
Because it talks about multiplying one-digit whole numbers by multiples of 10. We're focusing on tens and place value chart.
So what do scholars need to know and show by the end of this lesson?
They need to know how to multiply by multiples of 10, but they also need to be able to show it on a place value chart. So they need to be able to know how to multiply by tens, but also can they show it on a place value chart. And multiples of 10 could be like hundreds, you know. I don't know if it did thousands, but I was looking at it and there was somewhere it did multiples of 10, like tens, hundreds.
For sure. And then what else? You said place value chart. So other than they need to know how to place value, what do they need to know specifically?
Where to put it on the place value chart. So is it in the tens, is it in the ones, in the hundreds? And then knowing like if I have 30 tens, is that going to be in the tens or the ones? If I have 12 ones, where is that going to fall on the place value chart?
Perfect. So they need to understand what a place value chart is, what it means, and they also need to know what the value of each of those numbers are, right?
So if I say ones, what does that value mean?
What does that mean? If you say 100, what does that mean? So I'm glad you came with your exit ticket already prepared, because that's where I'd like to start, is right there. And so when you looked at your exit ticket, what are some things that you originally noticed about each of these problems, problem 1 and problem 2?
So what I noticed about problem 2 is I noticed that the misconception is they might forget that it's 30 times 10, and they might just put 30 instead of like 30 times 10, so they might not correlate the place value. That was one misconception I had. They might put 30 times 1 is 30 instead of, I think it's 30 times 10.
So turn to your lesson for me. Now that we went over the exit ticket, we know the expectations on the exit ticket, turn back to your lesson.
This?
So as you're teaching the lesson, knowing what they're going to see on the exit ticket, so as you're teaching the lesson, what would be considered your high leverage task that would be the one that would drive that productive struggle?
I mean, I feel like since they're going to be learning about multiplying by 4s, you could do this 60 times 4, or you could even try to tie in like some 20s or some sort of 4s to get them like used to using 20s or 4s.
I like your thought there. I do like that thought that you could say, okay, this one is going to be my high leverage task, that if I can take data on that one, this one's it. So if you're looking back at that now, let's go back to what types of MOPs can you put in place that will engage the students to get there?
At least for in groups, sometimes I'll do turn and talks, sometimes I'll do silent solos, depending on the question. But typically I like to do silent solo, and I walk around and I just can see who's doing it. And then if the majority that get them, they put their boards up. That gives me a really good idea of who was getting it, who wasn't. And then if they're all getting it, I just say, Snow White, and we go to the next one. Or I'm like, okay, let's do another one to see if you're really understanding this. So kind of help me to gauge who's on.
How are you tracking that data? Do you have a tracker?
I don't have a tracker, but usually I just kind of can see who's getting it and who's not. And then,
so let's develop a way right now on this lesson, or with a sticky, or on this exit ticket.
With a sticky.
Yeah.
Of like almost there or not.
Yeah. And so let's develop one now. So if you're going to use a boards up with this one, go ahead and mark that in your lesson that you're going to use a boards up with that question, so you can track the data on it, right?